Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
It's an empire that has been built one drop at a time. Its origins date back to the 19th century when one man took three ingredients and set the culinary world's taste buds ablaze. Over the last 155 years, it has not only become a staple in households and restaurants around the world, it's been stocked on the Space Shuttle, Air Force One, and in Buckingham Palace, where it was a favorite of Queen Elizabeth. With branding that continues to be fresh and relevant, it's no exaggeration to say it's an American icon. So for all of these reasons, and because my dad loves it and suggested I do an episode on it, that's why this week's On Brand is on Tabasco.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. And what's your favorite show? And it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
Hey, I'm Jon.
Hey, I'm Marisa.
So, listen,
Ooh.
I know that this episode is supposed to be about Tabasco. Taylor Swift's album dropped yesterday.
There's another big T in the house.
The other big T in the house. I assume we're going to dedicate a good half of the show talking about how you feel about her new era. What's your favorite song? Do you know the name of the album? Do you know when it dropped?
Oh,
what do you know about this?
I have seen the name of the album. I want to say Dead Poet Society, but I know that's a movie with Robin Williams.
It's funny you say that because there's been jokes like all the old people think it's called the Dead Poets Society.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called the Tortured Poets Department, which I gotta admit, I don't love. It doesn't just roll off the tongue.
No, but it does have kind of a bookishness that's kind of fun. It's a little mysterious, little theatrical.
And that's her whole vibe this time. I don't know if you saw.
What's the vibe now? What is it?
Okay, so listen, if you don't know what happened, she dropped her album on Friday. It was actually like Thursday night here, like 9:00 Thursday night. And I guess for like the last year, she keeps giving these two clues. Like when she would win an award, she'd do like two with her fingers.
Wasn't a peace sign?
It looks just like a peace sign, but it was a two. There's twos here, twos there, twos.
It wasn't
everywhere.
like a pinky and a middle finger.
No, it wasn't like a thumb and your second finger.
Uh-huh. It was the normal,
like
the conventional two.
Conventional,
okay,
like,
great.
Peace, man. So everyone was like, what does the two mean? So she drops this album at midnight on the East Coast, 9:00 West Coast time, 16 songs. The world stops. Everyone films all their reaction videos, their thoughts, and all that. And then on her Instagram, this clock shows up with a big countdown that is going to end at 2:00.
She's a regular Moriarty. I can't believe this. What a game master.
She is a game. She said she has like Excel documents to like keep track of all her like Easter eggs and clues and stuff.
Extremely bizarre, but as a gamer, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean it's fun.
Yeah.
It really keeps the Swifties guessing.
Earth is her escape room. All of Earth.
Did you know when her fans really go off the rail? Like, okay, there's like, did you see she had two hairs in her face? So like go off. They're like, I know I'm clowning right now. They like call it clowning if they feel like maybe they're going off track, but like they still want to get it out there just in case they're right.
I love that.
So anyway, she has this clock going down on Instagram, and it's going to end at 2 a.m. So it ends, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's a double album. We didn't know. Another 2 a.m., 2 records, 2 everything. It's 15 new songs popped up. I'll be honest, I haven't had time to listen to it all yet.
What?
I know.
You might not be a Swiftie.
That's what I'm saying.
You haven't had time?
I haven't had time. I've been writing Tabasco. I've been working.
I mean, how long could it be? Like 2 hours total of music?
It is like 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay, well, I think you could find some time.
I got up at 4 a.m. today for record store day. I live a...
Way to bury the lead. You were waiting in line.
You know what?
On the sidewalk.
You act like, okay, here's what I'm going to say to that.
Uh-huh.
If there's a line, then I'm not the only one. Then I'm not the only one.
You ever heard of lemmings?
Wait, I haven't.
They walk in a little line to their death off a cliff. Was there a Lemmings video game? I feel like Lemmings really had a moment in like 1993. Lemmings. It was like a video game or a computer game or something, and it was little lemmings. I feel like they were little like bugs, and they just walk in a little line across, and you're trying to get them to not fall off a cliff. They're little rodents.
Wow, that sounds fun. That sounds way better than collecting vinyl records.
What did you buy?
Listen, did I get my whole list? Almost. Not everything.
What?
Luckily, my niece in Ohio helped me grab a few things there. My niece, Jadie, she went to Plaid Room Records, one of my favorite record stores in Hamilton, Ohio.
Is that why you started this podcast? So you can just increase your network of potential record buyers?
Just my network of everything.
Uh-huh.
So
What'd you buy? Rattle it off.
Well, listen, I'm not going to tell you everything. I'll give you a couple of I got the new Cure. It's not new, but like, if you don't know what Record Store Day is, for people that collect vinyl records, one day a year, now two, because they do a Black Friday Record Store Day.
Okay.
I know. It's really been milked. Artists like Taylor Swift or whoever will release like special, either unreleased albums or just unique albums on one day only. So fans like me, we line up, we make our little list, and it's hundreds and hundreds, and you try to get the ones that you want.
Hundreds and hundreds of what?
Titles come out today.
Your list was how many?
The list for Record Store Day is several hundred
Okay.
records.
How many did you get?
My list was 10.
Okay.
I got 8. That's
Okay.
not insane.
Oh.
You know what? Your yeahs and no's. Wow. One day.
I feel like it was like 6 episodes ago where you were like, I'm trying to reel it in. I'm not shopping so much anymore.
I need to reel it in.
Yeah,
I really
need to
do.
reel
I
it
need
in.
help. That's why I wish I had friends that would stop me before I go. But because I'm so secretive, I don't tell them I'm going.
Uh-huh.
Which I did think I mentioned a couple weeks ago. Record Store Day
I'm
was
sure
coming
I
up.
scolded you.
the one that still eludes me. Dolores O'Riordan, the lead singer of the Cranberries. Her
okay.
solo album has been released on vinyl, white vinyl at that, but they only released 600. So every store got like 2.
Wow.
So I wasn't able to get that one yet. And trust me, I have called around today.
So you didn't have time to listen to Taylor Swift.
My plan after Record Store Day, which I was done by like 10, was to go home and nap before we podded.
Oh my God.
And I spent most of the time eating Arby's and looking for that record.
You are a complicated man.
What did I say last night about myself? You know me, but you don't understand me.
That is definitely true.
I think most of the people in my life know me, but don't completely understand me.
Absolutely. Also, last night you talked about how you had gotten some pizza cupcakes from Little Caesars.
Yeah, pizza puffs. I've been wanting to try them. They really sucked me in on TikTok. It's one of
Uh-huh.
those things that I kept getting ads for because TikTok knows what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried them. They were fine.
I think TikTok understands you. TikTok might be the only one who does.
TikTok and Facebook's algorithm know me probably better than you.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. This is kind of morbid. I was actually thinking about that today because we had a good friend pass away a few years ago. And during that time, I realized I was constantly getting ads for memorial bracelets. That bracelet I bought that holds like
Really?
ashes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that today. I haven't gotten those ads in years.
Did you get the ad before he passed away? What if that was like a weird like omen? Like that'd be like a good scary movie.
Oh
You
my
start
God.
getting ads for
There's
like
your movie.
cemetery plots. Headstones. What do you know that I don't know?
Oh my gosh. Instead of like a really cool suspenseful thing that you realize something bad's going to happen, I just get ads for bracelets. No, not today. Who's it going to be?
Who's it going to be?
Wait, how did we get off the subject of Taylor Swift? We were supposed to devote a lot of time to that anyway. I have a few thoughts.
You haven't even listened to the album, so what is there to say about it?
Well, I've listened to probably about half of it. And unfortunately, I've started reading reviews about it. I will say the reviews are not glowing.
Really?
Yeah. People are like, it's a little samey.
What's her costume this time around? Because didn't she have one where she was like a snake girl, and she had one where she was like a fairy in the woods?
Uh-huh.
So what's the costume?
Well, it's funny you ask that, because it's kind of, I mean, the whole color scheme is like white, light gray, and I guess black.
A little blah.
It's very monochrome. And one of the articles I read was like, the color palette fits the music.
Wow, rude.
Very blah.
Yeah.
Bland. Same. I mean, they're fine. The songs I've heard are fine, but it doesn't feel like it's a new era. You know what it is? We're coming off of a year where literally the entire planet celebrated Taylor Swift. Everyone talked about her at some point last year.
I'm sure like 1 out of 4 people saw her live.
Yeah. Everyone's praising her show, praising how she's helping economies, praising all the work she does for like food banks in the cities she goes to. Praise, 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 praise. This album is about a breakup a few years ago. And I think she had probably written these songs already. She said that it takes her about when we get an album, she's been working on it for 2 years.
Okay.
So it almost feels like she just had these songs, got them out, not realizing just where she was going to be at this point in her life. She's like happy, cheerleader girl with her football boyfriend.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear a cheerleader girl with her football boyfriend songs. I feel like that's like my song of summer. Is like sitting on the sidelines rooting for my boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, yes, your lyrics are so on point with what I think she's feeling. But yeah, it's not that.
Like the mopey girl in the library. I don't know if I want to hear her talk.
Yeah, it's like a lot of like there's like 2 diss tracks for Kim Kardashian, and like that fight
so
goes
dated.
back like 11 years ago.
That's a Hazinga, I think.
That is a Taylor Swift Hazinga. That is a great point.
I have a live question.
Oh,
live question.
So we've had our first live question come into the pod. How exciting.
We should have a phone line that people can call in.
Would kill. For any questions, please call 1-888 on brand or on brand 32. So we had a live question. I was asked if I cried when I listened to the new Taylor Swift. As you can probably tell from what I just said, I didn't. I try when a new album comes out, you know this about me. I sometimes will wait a month or 2 before I listen to it because I want my first experience to be where I can focus on the music.
Yeah, I think I forget what artist
Fiona
it was
Apple.
Was it Fiona Apple, where you were like a month after the album had come out, you were like, I have to be listening to it walking alone on the beach. And we're like, well, we'll see when that happens, but
And I will say, to my credit, I ended up listening to it one night alone on the beach when we had bioluminescence. So I was on the beach with like blue glowy waves listening to the new Fiona Apple, which, by the way, was a phenomenal record. Talk about a musician.
Oh my gosh,
she does one album every 10 years, and they're always genius.
I love that you're like curating a brand experience for music when you listen to it.
Well, I want to really remember it. I don't want to just like listen to it when I'm road raging through Hollywood while she's like librarying around.
Well, that eliminates a lot of time in your day.
You know what I will say? I'm just going to go past that. You know what I will say that also I was thinking about with this album? So she's like, here's 31 songs. It reminded me of when I used to watch cooking shows and they would have like an ingredient and they'd be like, I made mushrooms 9 ways. And they're like, well, 8 of them suck. Like, just make it one really good way. Like, maybe don't give us 31 songs.
That's always the note on Top Chef.
Yeah.
Overcomplicating the dish.
Overcomplicating the dish. Yeah. So
I get it.
There you go.
Well, you might be aligned with the Swifties. If you're a Swiftie listening, write to us. We'd love to hear your opinion on Dead Poet Society.
I know we have
the
some
movie with Robin Williams. A huge fan.
I know we have some Swifties out there because
Yeah,
they
we
say
do.
they like to hear. They're like, John, you are a Swiftie.
And they got a lot of Taylor talk today.
All right, so you've learned what the brand is. It is Tabasco. Thoughts?
This is a spicy one. You were right. You didn't lie.
Well, I figured we're going into like Cinco de Mayo. We're going into like 4th of July. We're going into the summer. going to give you so many party bits for you to flick out at your friends at these parties that you're not, get your notepads out now, your memo pads, because you're going to have a lot of stuff to jot down.
That's really fun. Yeah, I do like Tabasco. I'll do a little, it's not my first choice in hot sauce, I'll be honest.
Wow.
I typically, if I have Tabasco and Cholula, I will go for Cholula. That's my number one. I like Tabasco more than Tapatio, which is this is what I would call the big three in like restaurant hot sauces. But Tabasco is very solid. My dad loved Tabasco too. What is it with that generation and Tabasco?
It was probably, honestly, they were probably heavily promoting it. There probably was not nearly as many choices as there are now.
That must be it. It was like the hot sauce.
The hot sauce.
That's really fun.
It's been around since 1868. I keep doing these legacy brands where it's like I start reading and like, oh, so the inventor of this was born in 1612. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
And then I always forget. I'm like, when did we get light bulbs? When did we have buggies? I'm like, what era is this? Because anything earlier than like 1910, I have no clue what we had.
Yeah, I not either. That's why it's great.
Actually, maybe like 1950. Like, did we had cars in 1910? Did we?
In 1980.
Did we have cars in 1910?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the Model T.
But what year was that?
Hey Siri, when did the Model T come out?
Ford Model T was formed October 1st, 1908.
1908.
2 years prior.
2 years. Oh my God.
Wow.
Can you imagine how exciting that would have been when like all of a sudden horses started to get replaced by cars?
In my grandma's, some like old yearbook I found like in my family's things. There was like, you know how like yearbooks will have like high school yearbooks will have kind of like what's going on, the current events of the year, kind of as like a little time capsule of the time. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff about how like the invention of the car is going to like ruin teenagers because like you're not meant to travel that far in like one day. It was kind of like, what is this going to do? What's the ripple effect for this, like for younger generations?
For your psyche, like, oh my God, I was 4 miles away just an hour ago.
They thought it was really gonna, kids these days, it was gonna ruin everything. Maybe
they're
right. Maybe it did. I don't know. I prefer to travel on foot.
That's what I'm. You do?
I do.
Oh, I hate traveling on foot. I thought by now, 2024, that we would at least have like those ground escalators like they have at the airport, like would be all over. A people mover all over town.
I guess you could get a Segway.
I could just Segway.
Yeah.
People use Segway still?
I mean, it's essentially a personal people mover.
Segway. You should do an episode on Segway. I feel like, remember how before Segways came out, people are like, hold on.
Prepare to be have your mind blown.
The world is about to get flipped upside down. I think I've seen 2 people on Segways in my entire life, and I was humiliated for them.
I think that's the appropriate response.
Well, I'm glad to know that your dad also liked Tabasco. I'm going to just dedicate this show to both of our dads because I am a wimp when it comes to hot sauce. Mine is also, my favorite is not Tabasco. I do like Tabasco for its place in the iconicness of America. Like, I think it's... What?
Buffalo sauce is Tabasco. Buffalo sauce is Tabasco and butter. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. You love buffalo sauce.
Well, I mean, buffalo sauce is any hot sauce and butter.
Oh, well, me then.
I know you can't see Marissa, but man, her face just lit up like she was just revealing Da Vinci's Code.
Sometimes it's fun to feel like I pulled one over on the Emmy Award-winning researcher.
Of course I love buffalo sauce. It's literally like a half a cup of sauce, a half a cup of butter, and you just shake it up trying to emulsify it.
You're like, buffalo sauce, hold the Tabasco, dunk a wing in that. We're in heaven.
Tupperware melted butter, please. Oh my gosh. Last off topic. Me, butter.
I'm listening.
Movie theater popcorn.
Oh God, tell me your plan. What's your strategy?
I disgust myself when I put so much butter in this thing, and I do it because they fill it, and sometimes I'll ask them to fill it halfway so I can do a half layer of butter and then more.
So are you talking about when they have the self-serve pump? Because some movie theaters do have that.
Self-serve pump.
So what's your strategy? You bring the popcorn over to the pump. How do you do it to get it to your level?
In an ideal world, they will work with me. In an ideal world, the teen behind the counter will work with me, and he'll fill my popcorn up halfway. I run over, scoot on over, butter that all up, go back, get the rest. Segway on over. Then get the rest and butter all that up. But
have you asked them to work with you in the past?
I always start off trying to get them to work with me.
You say, hey, will you work with me on this?
Hey, kid, listen, will you work with me here for a minute?
or I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
But let's just say, God, I'm so gross. Why do I share this stuff with you?
No, we love you. We love all parts of you.
Let's just say I've gotten used to, I won't put the bag of popcorn on my lap.
Why?
Because butter soaks through the bottom of it. And there was one time, the movie was over, and like I got up to leave, and my thighs were completely buttered.
They were translucent.
Because I'm disgusting.
Oh no, we love you. We love you. If you're a butter boy or a butter gal, sound off below.
A butterball.
If you're a butterball like Jon.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Okay, I gotta get us back on topic. I have a lot of notes here, so let's jump in it. Tabasco sauce. What is it? Tabasco sauce is a pepper sauce named after the Tabasco peppers that it's made from. I don't know if you know this about Tabasco peppers. They're the only pepper that's not dry inside. They are liquid inside, which is what...
My God. Right out the gate, and you are knocking my socks off.
Well, babe, if you're impressed by that, put on a seatbelt.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. So the peppers are named after the Mexican state of Tabasco, which is where they...
Hold on.
Oh.
Wow. I'm imagining people listening to the pod driving, and they're just careening into medians and other cars.
Mom, I got to get to school. Hold on, honey. I got to pull over for a minute. Are you hearing this? Okay, so I didn't get to finish that. So the peppers are named after the Mexican state of Tabasco, which is where they are supposedly from.
Okay.
We can't prove that they're from there. There's a lot of questions in this story today.
The Tabasco Mysteries, starring Matt Damon.
So yes, they're a very juicy pepper. Tabasco sauce is, like I said in the opening, only made from 3 ingredients. You've got pepper, you've got salt, and you've got vinegar. That's it. The recipe basically hasn't changed for 155 years. What has changed is the amount of time that it ferments and what it's fermented in.
Ooh.
Don't worry. We're going to get to the barrels in a little bit.
Thank God.
Because those barrels are going to give you some trivia flicks.
They sound proprietary.
Hey, Mar, ask me who invented Tabasco sauce.
Jon, who invented Tabasco sauce?
Oh, God, that is a complicated question, Marissa. I wish I could give you a simple answer, but I can't. It's going to be complicated. But let's dive into it. Okay, so the first guy that we're going to talk about is Monsell White, born in 1783. He's born in Ireland. He's orphaned at the age of 6 years old.
Wow.
At 13, he gets himself to America. He has no money at all. He's a 13-year-old kid with nothing. He manages to get an informal education. He enters the business world. He becomes an accounting clerk. And over the years, he works his way into a position of wealth and influence in New Orleans. It's a real honest rags to riches story.
Rags to riches. I love that.
Yeah. He ends up, and this has nothing to do with the story, I just found this interesting, another thing that you can share. He ends up marrying a French Creole woman named Celestine, and when she dies, he marries her sister.
Wow, you devil.
Okay. Why spend any time looking?
It is convenient.
Yeah. So he had a varied career. He was in the military, he was in business and politics, but he did become best known for being a grower and promoter of peppers. In his lifetime, he invented 2 sauces, one a wine sauce, the other a pepper sauce. There's an 1850 article in the New Orleans Daily Delta newspaper which says this: Colonel White has introduced the celebrated Tabasco red pepper, the very strongest of all peppers, of which he has cultivated a large quantity with the view of supplying his neighbors and diffusing it throughout the state. By pouring strong vinegar on it after boiling, he has made a sauce of pepper which possesses in a most concentrated form all the qualities of the vegetable. A single drop of this sauce will flavor a whole plate of soup and other foods.
So one question's on my mind. What's hotter, the sauce or him?
Wow. You have a 1 crack mind with these old dead men.
I'm just wondering, is he a hunk? How hot is the guy?
I mean, listen, I don't think I have found most of the people that I research on this show, especially I'm always looking at pictures of them like nearing death's door.
I want to see him at 26. I want him shirtless in the pepper farm.
Just tweaking 2 peppers in his fingers.
That's right.
So he never marketed his pepper sauce, and his heirs advertised it for sale after he passed away. It was called Monsell White's Concentrated Essence of Tabasco Pepper.
Ooh, a little wordy.
Yeah.
We might have to trim that.
So you might be thinking that this is the beginning of the Tabasco sauce. It's not.
You'd be a damn fool.
You would be an idiot. And thank God you're listening to this pod. Tabasco sauce comes out 4 years later. So there's been some controversy. The reason this guy is part of the story is the next guy that we're about to talk about, Edmund McElhenney, is the inventor of the Tabasco sauce that we all know today.
Interesting.
For some reason, there's a controversy about where he first got his seeds, how he figured out the recipe to make this sauce. A lot of people think he got it from Mr. White, who we just talked about.
Sounds like it.
They were born like 32 years apart, but we'll get to that, and you can make I'm not giving you an answer here because nobody knows the answer to this. And after I was,
you don't want to get sued.
I don't want to get sued by Big Tabasco, Big Pepper. But I was thinking, after I was like reading all this, and I was trying to like kind of piece it together, I was also like, who cares? Like, what does it matter who invented it? I don't think the first guy wasn't like, he didn't even promote his own sauce.
He didn't even make a dime from it.
He wasn't even out there hustling it. Yeah. So it's not like this guy came in. It's like when Apple came out with the iPod, there was already MP3 players.
That's a good point. There was the Zune, as we've mentioned.
Who did it better and who promoted it more? All right. So like I said, now we're going to talk about this guy, Edmund McElhenney. He was born in 1815, 32 years after White. He was originally from Maryland, moved to New Orleans to seek his fortune in about 1840. He was only 25 years old. I love how young everyone is in all these stories. And like they do these like giant...
Me too. I also like how young these guys are.
You're a mom. You have 2 children.
I can dabble in the spicier side of life. I like a little Tabasco on my scrambled eggs.
2 children that one day will be able to listen to.
Yeah. This is recorded.
They think I do a radio show.
I was about to say, they know this is the radio show. When we try to scoot them out of the house, we're like, we got to do our radio show.
Where mom just milfs out for 2 hours.
Good Lord. All right, so he's originally from Maryland. He moves to New Orleans seeking his fortune, which he finds as the Civil War is a brewing. He finds it in banking. He marries a woman named Mary Avery, who was the daughter of Daniel Avery, who ran a sugar plantation on a place in New Orleans that is now called Avery Island.
Related to Avery labels.
Well, related to them.
Well, maybe they also had a label factory. It was a crossover episode. The hot brand Avery labels. Everyone knows them. If you've ever sent out Christmas cards, you know Avery.
Back in the day, my great-great-grandfather had a sugar plantation and a label factory in 1810.
It's a hard time. Sometimes you needed 2 incomes.
Listen, we can't go off topic.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
All right, so Avery Island is a 2,200-acre salt dome rising out of the marshes of Louisiana. So that salt's going to be important in a little bit. Okay, so the Civil War starts, and the Avery McElhenney brood plan to just chill at this sugar plantation, but salt deposits become a focal point of the war. So Avery Island is no longer a safe place for them to stay.
Okay.
So they decided to avoid all the battles and go down to Texas. The war ensues, it ends, and they come back. And this is where I'm picturing maybe a little bit of music. It's kind of like a coming home and finding everything destroyed, but maybe a little bit of hope.
Oh, interesting. Composer Hans Zimmer on the scene.
So they return in 1865, and much of the South, including their plantation, was in shambles. McElhenney surveys the damage, and the sugar crops destroyed. Everything is gone. Or is it? It is said that the sole remaining crop were some Tabasco peppers that McElhenney had planted before the war. This is a life-changing moment.
Wow.
So, like I said earlier, one of the biggest questions that people wanted to know is how and where did McElhenney get these peppers? We don't know that. Some think that he got them from Mansell White along with the recipe because their families would have kind of run in the same circles in New Orleans. McElhenney himself said that he obtained some red pepper seeds from a Central American traveler who had recently arrived in Louisiana.
Interesting.
His son tells a story that his dad got them from a soldier returning from the Mexican-American War, which would make sense because if he was in Mexico, he could come across these seeds.
People were just like slipping seeds to one another back then?
Babe, it was a different time. Like if you're in another country and you could bring a seed back and grow a crop, like that's a big deal.
That's how we got pineapples.
And part of the story reminds me of pineapples. When we went to Hawaii and went to that pineapple
farm.
plantation.
Yeah, that's cool.
The interesting thing about the story about maybe getting them from someone from the Mexican-American War was a lot of people think that story is plausible, but if it happened, it would have happened with Mansell White because he was around when people were coming back from that war. McElhenney, it was 20 years after that war, so someone would have given him those seeds and he just held on to them for 20 years and then planted them. Makes no sense
This
at all.
sounds like you like finding some old seeds like in a little box at a garage sale
and just planting
them.
Yeah. So we're never going to know exactly where he got them, but what we do know is after the Civil War, the Southern diet was very bland. So he wanted to create something that would just make food taste better. So he experimented with these peppers. He went through a lot of like different levels of like how long to ferment them. But once he had a recipe that he was satisfied with, he started bottling the sauce in old perfume and cologne bottles.
Whoa.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
That's interesting.
That's what he had available to him at the time. And the thing that was really good about those was with those kind of bottles, you can't just like pour out a sauce. That comes out like in drops, like in very small amounts. And he had put a caution label on the bottles saying 1 or 2 drops are enough for a plate of soup, meat, or oysters. So,
and each bottle had a slight whisper of white diamonds.
I know, I was thinking that too. It's like, yeah, it seems like it'd be really hard back in that day. I guess maybe you just boil them.
To get them that clean.
You just boil them. So in 1868, he's giving these bottles out to his friends and family. They're like, oh my God, this is the best. Can't believe how good oysters are with these. He's like, you know what? I'm going to sell these. He originally makes a batch of bottles and sells them to New Orleans grocery stores for $1 a bottle, which is $22 today.
Like, I was going to say, that sounds expensive.
I know. It was like an actual luxury item of the time to be able to have this. And within like 10 years, he's already selling his sauce not only across the country, it's already over in Europe.
That's crazy. How do people find out about things like that? Like
back in those days, I have no idea. I guess newspapers, and didn't people like stand on boxes and just shout?
With like a ringing bell?
Yeah, they're like, hey, everyone gather around. I got a new sauce.
You talking about a town crier?
Yeah, no. People that sold like snake oil. Like maybe that's how like bring me what's that dry hamburger you have there, boy? Come over here. And then he sprinkles some peppers on it.
But then to be like transcontinental, like to bring like a suitcase of little jangling around bottles like over to Europe and then like be peddling them there.
Yeah, because correct me. No, I know there's no planes. So he would have had to take a
Are there planes?
I don't think there's no planes.
When are there planes?
Hey, Siri, when was the plane invented?
In 1903. Following their pioneering
So yeah, so we're at 1868. He's not taking a plane to Europe. He's like taking a ship.
For like 2 months.
Yeah. Well, luckily, Tabasco sauce does have a 5-year shelf life.
Thank God.
Another little thing that's a boring fact. You'll get better ones. What I found interesting about Edmund is he passes away in 1890 and didn't even think of Tabasco as being his legacy. He thought he would be known for being like a great banker. Like Tabasco is not mentioned in his obituary.
Can you name even like one banker? Like who's a banker?
Uncle Pennybags from Monopoly. I would say is probably the most famous banker.
Certainly the only one.
So then his sons step in, John and Ned, and they really they take Tabasco to the next level. And Tabasco on their website has issued a statement that says, there is no contemporary historical evidence that Edmund McElhenney knew Mansell White, much less that he received his peppers or pepper sauce recipe from him. Furthermore, we know that White's and McElhenney's recipes were different. White's recipe, he boiled the peppers, and McElhenney just fermented them. They're really on the defense here, like wanting this not to have been the connection.
Which is interesting because it is literally the same. It's just Tabasco peppers. Like, what are the odds? Though I do like to think this is a little mystical. This is like some like food, some condiment angels at work where, like, you know, this sauce has to exist. Mm-hmm. If one guy can't take it off the ground and get it to the masses, we're going to inspire someone else with the recipe so they'll make it. Like if the guy who invented ketchup just like for some reason never got around to like getting it widespread, somebody else would have had the idea 30 years later just because these things have to exist. We have to have these sauces.
Yeah, I never thought about that. There might be like some sort of
sauce angels,
sauce sorcerer, the sauce sorcerer that goes around and creating the saucerer. I love that all sauces have begun when you get a visit in the middle of the night from the sorcerer.
So if you've had an idea in the middle of the night for a sauce and you didn't do anything with it, you just let it pass, the sorcerer will visit someone else.
Yeah, we're all enjoying whatever food that sauce is supposed to go on a little less because of you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so why don't I walk you through how Tabasco sauce is made?
I would love it.
Who wouldn't want to know that?
Take me into the factory, hand in hand.
Okay, there's some interesting things here. So every year, a batch of new peppers are grown from the exact seed stock that produced the very first bottle of Tabasco in 1868. It's like people that have like starter for bread. It's like a piece of it has existed forever.
That's really cool.
All the peppers used to be grown on Avery Island, but decades ago, when a bunch of the crop was lost, they realized that it made more sense to have smaller crops around the world to reduce the risk of losing a year's worth of peppers.
Good point.
So now they're grown in Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. I don't know these accents. Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, South Africa, Africa. There's a small patch grown in Florida just in case something happens to the Avery Island seed crop. And in case everything just goes to shit and the whole world is destroyed, there is a reserve supply of seeds.
On your front porch.
In my storage unit. Don't ask me how I got them. They're right next to the 10 peeps. 11 peeps. No, they keep them in a bank vault.
Wow.
That's how important it is to them.
Yeah, I'd say
have
so.
These seeds.
I'd say so.
So the main purpose of the farm on Avery Island is now for research and development and seed stock. Every year, a member of the McElhenney family personally selects the best plants on Avery Island before they harvest them. Those seeds are dried and packaged in 1.5-pound bags. Each bag is enough to plant 30 acres of pepper plants. Wow. And those bags are sent to all the places around the world that grow their peppers. So
do you ever just get your mind blown by seeds?
Seeds are insane.
Seeds are unbelievable.
What a seed? Like, I don't know if you're kidding.
I am absolutely not.
I could watch a stop motion video of a seedling to plant all day long.
I can't believe that inside one watermelon, which contains like 100 seeds, that they become trash, or like an apple or a lemon where the seeds are just discarded as garbage. Inside a seed is all of the genetic code to make an entire new plant with exponentially more seeds for more plant. I can't believe it.
You know, the plant game is a good game to get into, man.
Oh yeah.
People,
printing money.
Like, it's literally, you're just growing money. You snip off a little bit of that plant, stick it in the dirt, you grow a new plant. People that like have those expensive plant websites, that's a good business.
We could disrupt that business. We could disrupt the plant industry with a cool plant brand.
Someone wants us to disrupt the dog food. We'll talk about that at the end.
We'll
got to get through. We're off topic. Okay.
He's raging out.
The peppers are picked when they are bright red. Pickers use a small wooden dowel known as les petits bâtons rouges, which just means the red stick.
Little red
stick. And it's a small stick that is painted the precise color of Tabasco red. So they hold that stick up to the pepper, and when they're identical, they know that pepper is ready to be picked.
Wow.
You're
Is that how you
welcome.
pick your peeps?
You're an idiot. We can't go off topic.
75% off at Party City.
Oh, I meant to go over there.
Babe, no.
I meant to go over there. I mean, that's going to be like a $4. So Marissa sends me a picture yesterday from Party City because she hangs out there every weekend. Every weekend I get a picture from Party City. I don't know why. And she's like, she just sends me pictures of the Peep Ben, and it's 75% off. Now, look, we all know I have 11, but I mean, 75% off, those Peeps are going to be like $2.
They're practically giving them away.
It's like, why you have to buy them.
Yeah, you're making money.
You know what's really funny?
What?
Party City is right across the street from my storage unit.
So the Peep could, in theory, get bought at Party City, be driven 400 feet, and be placed in a storage unit, fully bypassing your home.
More than in theory. In fact, it will happen.
After this episode
After
today.
this episode. That's why we got to keep going.
The Peeps are waiting.
The Peeps are
They're
waiting.
calling your name.
Oh my God. So on Avery Island, the picking is done by about 50 people. People like to volunteer for this. They say they never have an issue trying to, people like to do this.
I would love to do it.
I feel like I'd like to do it for like an hour.
I would love to do it.
And then I'd be like sitting in the field TikToking. Like, don't they have Wi-Fi in Avery Island? They usually harvest from August till the first frost. I think this is fun. They pick for 2 full weeks and then let the plants rest and grow more peppers. And then they pick those. And then here's the process. So once ripe peppers are picked, they are immediately combined with a small amount of rock salt from the island's own salt mines.
Wow.
They're crushed to form what is called a pepper mash, which is placed into white oak barrels for aging. Each batch of pepper mash is personally inspected, of course, by the McElhenney family, and the mash itself is 10 times hotter than the Tabasco sauce is going to end up being.
Because this is no vinegar at this point?
No vinegar
It's just
at this
salt and
point.
pepper crushed up.
Very good.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, I am paying attention.
Okay.
I'm in pepper school, honey.
You're in pepper school. Yeah. And here's what I find interesting is they let this sit for 3 years. Like who?
3 years?
They sit in a barrel for 3
What?
years.
I thought it would be like literally 3 days.
No, in the beginning it was like I think 2 months, like in the 1800s, but over time they realized 3 years was the right
They're
amount.
just kind of like, is it just me or the longer we wait, the better it is? And they're like, they keep going. It's like 3 months, and then it's like a year, and then it's like, let's keep going. Let's see how yummy it can be.
It's so long. It's like
Wow.
3 years. So like we put these in a barrel today. We're going to go look at them in 2027.
Crazy.
Crazy. Now, the barrel tops are sealed with a thick layer of more salt from Avery Island. It's a natural protective barrier that allows the release of the gases during the fermentation process, and they replace that salt like every 6 weeks.
Wow, what a job.
So like I said, the pepper mash ages in these barrels for 3 years. It allows the taste to mellow and become the flavor that Tabasco wants it. Then after the 3 years, it's blended with a high-quality vinegar. It's put in to ferment for another month,
Wow.
28 days. Then it's strained out and bottled, and you have the Tabasco sauce that you and I kind of like and that our dads
And our daddies
really
love.
enjoy. The sauce that our daddies enjoy.
That's
So, yeah.
so fun. I feel like I'm like craving Tabasco sauce now.
I
That
know.
zip, that heat.
You know what I really have grown to like Tabasco sauce on? And I like another Louisiana sauce called Trappies, which has also been around for years. Interesting fact, Tabasco is made from Tabasco peppers. Most other hot sauces are made from cayenne peppers.
Oh, interesting.
But I really enjoy putting it on fried chicken, like a few drops on fried chicken. It
Yummy.
is so good.
Have you ever had Tabasco on a peanut butter pickle sandwich?
Definitely not. No, definitely
I don't
not.
think I made this up. This is like a recipe.
That's like a 1960s pregnant
No,
thing.
I feel like correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I have a memory of like Al Roker testing this on the Today Show. This is like in my mind where it was like somebody's talking about like funny things you can make with Tabasco, probably. And like they're making that. And Al Roker being like, it's pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Well, and a lot of the old labels for Tabasco, there is a thing like send away for like the book of recipes for Tabasco is probably in something like that.
I'll have to look that up.
Back in the day, they would throw any 4 things together and call it a dish. Jello, cucumbers.
Food used to be beyond disgusting.
Yeah.
That's why everyone was so thin, because food was so bad.
I know. God, those are the good old days. Here's a fun fact for you to throw out at your next party.
Okay.
The Avery Island factory produces how many bottles of Tabasco a day?
100 million.
Can you just try to make it so that my answer is impressive?
Okay, 100.
No, 750,000.
Okay, wow. That's so much more than my original guess.
No.
My original guess, 100. That's so much more.
All right, and here's a question for both of you, a Wits and Wagers. Each 2-ounce bottle of Tabasco holds how many drops?
This just reminded me of how cute the little mini Tabascos are that you'll get sometime at like a room service.
Babe, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to those.
Okay, the big one, the standard size.
2 ounce, yeah, it's like that one.
Okay, 1,200.
L.
734.
720.
Oh my God.
Single.
Single. Can you believe it? Single.
I mean, think of, if he can guess that, think of all the things he can guess for you.
All right. Ladies, very intuitive. You know what that means. Not all men are mind readers, but let's just say Al is.
Hey, Mar.
Yeah?
You know what they say about Sex and the City and New York?
Yeah, it's the 5th character.
Well, if I had to say that Tabasco had a 4th ingredient,
okay,
it would be the barrel.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. Okay, so I actually do find the barrels very interesting. So what they use are decommissioned white oak bourbon barrels.
Decommissioned, that means they're like retired?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're sourced from different distilleries around the country, so it's not uncommon to be in the Tabasco factory and see barrels that say Jim Beam on them.
Wow. Okay.
Other iconic brands, Jack Daniels. And a fun fact is distillery law restricts you from using the barrels to make bourbon more than once.
Okay, wow.
So it is a constant supply of barrels for Tabasco to use.
Great.
Which is
Recycle,
great.
reduce, reuse.
We love it. So something interesting, when the distilleries are using the barrels, they char the inside of them because they want the bourbon to have that smoky flavor. Tabasco doesn't want the charring. So they had to create a machine that de-chars the barrels.
What does it do? Sand it off?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm racing to YouTube when this finishes.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video on the de-charring process.
De-charring.
So they have to de-char the barrels, and they also need a special machine to replace the iron hoops that are on the barrels with stainless steel hoops because iron rust. And they use these barrels for a very long time.
Wow, yeah. I think I'm due for a de-charring.
You're definitely due for a re-hooping.
Definitely.
Something. Okay, I mean, I'll just explain what I'm looking at. So I had this like whole paragraph in here that I put in tiny font, which means I may not want to include it, but there was one thing in it that I thought you would laugh at.
Okay.
Which is why I left it in there. So it's talking about what they do with the barrels after the pepper mash is removed from them.
Film with monkeys.
No, they don't film with monkeys. They're cleaned of any mash residue and taken to the mash warehouse. At the mash warehouse, the barrels are placed in rows and inspected for damage, determine if they're still of good quality and can be used again. They will recover them, retighten the stainless hoops, and wax the bung on the side of the barrel. And it just said that. I didn't know what that meant. It felt like I'm supposed to know what waxing the bung means. But step 4, wax the bung.
It's kind of like a SoCal surfer slang a little bit. Like, oh man, sick waves, totally waxing the bung out there, man.
Bro. Been waxing bungs all day.
You're right, I do love that.
On average, the barrels are used for 35 to 40 years. But some of them have been in use for 80 to 90 years.
Well, that's a long run. They deserve their rest.
There's a... What?
They had 2 jobs.
That's something your mom would say. That this inanimate wooden barrel needs a break.
Feeling bad for them.
I hope they get 2 15-minute breaks. There's about 73,000 barrels in the Tabasco barrel warehouse, and they use approximately 20 to 22,000 barrels in production.
That's a lot of
each
barrels.
year. Yeah, a lot of barrels. And what's great is
Don't let Donkey Kong in there.
What have I said about going off topic right now? I am in the marathon of my life right now. I may not know what it's like to run down a street, but I know what it's like to run through facts to get a pod done.
So you can get to Party City.
I gotta get to Party City. It's Sunday. How late are they? It's 5. They probably are only open till 6. Last fun fact about barrels is when they're done with them, they chop them up and use them for another of their own product called Tabasco wood chips. How great is that? That barrel, everything, I mean,
wow,
used from beginning to end.
What do you do with the wood chips?
You probably use them like in your grill or something.
Meat
Yeah,
with
like
them?
smoke a meat.
That's fun. So they're like maybe lightly scented with Tabasco.
Yeah.
That's cool.
A kiss of old.
I love that.
80 years of old pepper mash.
That's fun.
Don't tell Tara that they butcher the barrel.
Oh my God. She'll
Tara
feel really
will
bad
cry.
for the barrels. She could truly weep over any inanimate object if it has googly eyes on it. Like if you put googly eyes on a barrel and then you're like, that barrel's getting chopped up, she will fall to her knees weeping.
Okay. I don't know why I'm going to share this, but I'll share this.
Okay.
If I'm like at a thrift store and looking at like CDs.
Yeah.
And I'm going through them and I see like a Madonna CD and then I come over here and I come across another Madonna CD. Oftentimes I'll put them together.
So they can be with their friends?
I feel like for 2 reasons. 1, so they can be with their friends. And 2, if someone comes looking for the Madonna CD, like they're like, oh, I found a bunch of them in one clump.
But part of you is kind of like, oh, they should be together.
Yeah.
Oh,
a little bit.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It's so dumb. We have fun. All right. Tabasco in space. As I said in the cold open, Tabasco is part of the, whatever it's called, the...
Space Food Club.
What would that be called?
Space Food Club.
Not the space.
Let's just call it the Space
Okay, fine.
Food
So Tabasco is
Club.
part of the Space Food Club. Because I don't know if you're like this. I know I haven't been in space, but I have flown. When I fly, like my taste buds are different. Like I will eat trail mix. Like my life depends on it in a plane.
This isn't a thing. This is a phenomenon. Do you know this? This is why more people drink Bloody Marys on planes.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to talk about
You crave flavors that are saltier, spicier.
Yeah, that's in my research.
Like a Bloody Mary, but also like Tabasco. And Tabasco is an ingredient of Bloody Mary. So that makes perfect sense why you're having this realization, Jon.
You did it. That is exactly right. Astronauts lose their sense of smell, and smell largely governs the pleasure we take in food.
More evidence we should just be on Earth.
Yeah, I have no desire to go into space. So they lose their sense of smell, so they need like things that are like extra sweet or sour or peppery. So they may not crave Tabasco on Earth, but they will really crave it when they're in space. So it's become part of the condiment package that gets...
Speaking of Space Food Club and Party City, they had a product there that I almost bought because I was so curious, but I didn't. But since you're going to go after the pod... It's a candy that is freeze-dried. You know how a lot of like astronaut food is freeze-dried? Freeze-dried Skittles. Will you pick those up for me just to pick me up a bag?
Babe, it's like that has been a TikTok thing for like 9 months. It's like it is like talking to my mom.
You are young and I am old.
Right. Yes.
Were you going to say?
It all works out one way or another.
We're the same age, but you are young and I am old.
I'm exposed and you're in house.
That's true. You're exposed.
I was bombarded. Like freeze-dried candies was like 6 months of TikTok.
Is it good? Do people like it?
People seem to like it. It's like it turns really crunchy.
Okay, great. So pick me up a bag. Jeez.
You were there. Why didn't you grab a bag?
You're going back.
You were hoping
today.
that I would go buy it, just kind of peep so that I could buy you a bag?
I knew you would. I knew you'd be back.
I have seen them and I've resisted buying them. I'm like, I don't care. I think I got so annoyed seeing it on TikTok so much.
That should be in the Space Food Club. Freeze-dried Skittles.
Oh, I wanted to tell you this. This is how the little bottles come into play. Oh, this story's insane. Not really, but it's crazy.
For us,
it's
insane. We have a low bar.
Okay, so I know I've brought us all the way up to 2024, but if you would indulge me, I'm going to take us back to 1894 for just a moment.
Okay, hop in the DeLorean.
Because in 1894, if you can believe it, an opera came out that was about Tabasco sauce.
I cannot believe that.
An entire opera. 1894. So it had only been out like 25 years.
But at that time, were operas like TikTok? Did people just like go see them just to do something? Like, if people are so bored that they're like going to see operas. It's not like certain people see operas.
Like anyone went?
Like anybody went.
I don't know. That's a great question. I've always pictured operas only being for the elite or people that like want to feel cool watching something that everyone hates. But
I'm saying if they were making operas about Tabasco, it feels like that's kind of like a working class opera.
Yes.
An opera about a hot sauce. It's like the earliest viral marketing.
Well, it wasn't put together by McElhenney. What is interesting about it is this is a long forgotten opera. So they created this opera. It was not part of the company at all. It was a huge success. It was a traveling opera called the Burlesque Opera of Tabasco. It became an overnight sensation, drawing crowds to theaters across America. The opera had a full orchestra, a chorus, cast of characters, including a protagonist who threatens his personal chef after taking a bite of his dinner only to find it boring and bland.
This is truly a commercial for Tabasco.
Yeah, I know. So like I said, this opera was completely forgotten about until this guy, Paul Moffray, a sleuthing Louisiana-born conductor, had been digging around in the history of New Orleans opera, and he came across a playbill for it. And so then he becomes obsessed with the fact, because Tabasco is, in Louisiana, it's like one of their, like, you know, they're super proud of it.
Yeah, of
so
course.
like the fact that there was an opera, no one had remembered it. He like pieced together like what it was through different means, and they put a revival on of it a few years ago.
That's really cool.
But when the original one was becoming successful, the show approached Jon McElhenney, the son of Edmund McElhenney, who was now running the company, to get his permission to continue doing the opera as a traveling production, with the caveat that many bottles of the sauce be distributed to audience members during each performance.
Wow.
McElhenney gave the show his blessing, and this was the first time the company produced the mini bottles to look like the standard bottles, which now account for nearly half of the company's total Tabasco sales.
Wow.
Right?
That is so cute. Wouldn't you love getting that souvenir at an opera?
God.
You'd be like hanging out afterwards, asking if anybody can give you their little bottle.
I'd be clinking going down the stairs because I'd have like 200 of them in like all of my pockets.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so cute. This opera like has all the makings of a great Super Bowl commercial. I feel like they need to put on the opera for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could see that. Like some big high production Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. Or they could just like be the halftime show at the Super Bowl. The Tabasco opera.
Well, you're not going to believe it. We're at the end, and I'm now at my favorite part of my notes that say fun facts for your Cinco de Mayo and summer barbecues. So let's just hit a few of these, shall we?
I love it.
Bugs have become an issue on Avery Island with the peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So what they have done to take care of this problem is plant sunflowers around the crops so the bugs are more attracted to those, which I was like, that's so sweet. They're not killing the bugs. They're just going to these flowers. But then I continued reading and it said they will then kill the bugs once they're on the sunflowers.
Once they are gathered, they are swiftly poisoned.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, that's fun.
Fun fact number 2, if you manage to visit Avery Island, which over 100,000 people do a year, of course.
It's on my bucket list now.
Probably after they've gone to Cabbage Patch Island, because they're already on that side of the country. You go to Avery Island, there is a restaurant there called 1868, named after the year Tabasco came out. They only had one product for like 125 years, the Tabasco sauce we already know. Now they have a whole line. There's like 9 different ones. There's like a jalapeno one and a habanero one. There's, you know, they've branched out.
Of course.
So you go to this restaurant and all the menu items at the restaurant complement a different sauce. So they do all these pairings so you can kind of like experience all the sauces that are made.
That sounds really fun.
That does, actually. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'm going to peruse that Yelp later tonight after the kids go to bed.
And you'll love this. Also on the island, they have a bird sanctuary. So after dinner, you can go bird watching.
Oh my God. What a fun vacation.
Fun fact, Tabasco is sold in more countries than McDonald's is in.
Okay, that is very fun.
Very fun. 195 countries. McDonald's is only in 119. I did not know it was quite that widespread. Do you know anything about Schofield heat units?
Yes, that is the measurement of how spicy something is.
Do you know enough about it where you can guess what it would be?
Is it 1 to 10?
No, it's like, it goes up to like 1 million, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. It's 40,000.
No, it's low. It's only 2,500 to 5,000.
Okay. Yeah, I this is ringing a bell now.
Fun mistaken fact: on the bottom of every Tabasco bottle, there's a number 1 through 40.
Okay.
And a lot of people either think or spread the rumor that tells you how hot it is. Like there's that much of a range between Tabascos that, oh shit, I got a 40 and I only wanted 1. It's not that at all. Each of the molds for the bottles just has a number. So it just tells the company which mold made that bottle in case they ever needed to go back to that mold or something.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So that's kind of a boring fun fact.
No, but it's helpful in case you've been part of the rumor mill for that on Tabasco.
Exactly.
You've been righted.
And speaking of Schofield, I'll end with, so a few months ago, my friend Sean, for his birthday, wanted to do that Hot Ones game.
Oh my God, no, I can't.
Oh my God.
That sounds terrible. Well, we don't like food competitions, you and me both.
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing people eat spicy stuff. Stresses me
I don't
out.
like being the one that eats the spicy stuff. And it's not like, I would mind it less if each of them tasted like buffalo sauce, but they just kept getting hotter. But it's like scalding pineapple, mango, whatever, and they smell bad.
So what are you eating actually? Are you eating
chicken wing?
A chicken wing. Okay.
Yeah, and I put so little sauce on mine. And my friend Susan, she was like, "This isn't hard. Like we're getting to like 8 and 9 and 10," and she's like, "This is easy." Well, my friend Christine like went back and looked. We had filmed a lot of it, and she went back and looked at the footage. And Susan and I both are like, we barely tap our tongue. We're like, oh, this is like we did. And other people are crying because it's like so hot.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like dripping in it.
Yeah, I don't have any desire to do that.
Same. I'm not so much of a spice girl. Are you a spice girl?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I'm not really a spice girl. Tabasco is right at my comfort level. A few shakes of those, like shakes of Tabasco. Yeah, a few dribbles.
It's surprising how much of not a spice girl I am. There's a chicken place by us like that has 0 to 10 heat, and I had picked 0. I got 1. I got 1 once, and I couldn't eat it because it was so hot.
Yeah, you're definitely not a spice girl then.
But we have all these hot chickens here in LA for the last few years. That seems to be like a hot thing here.
Yeah, hot chicken's really having a moment.
Speaking of hot, I'm sweating. I'm done with Tabasco. I've given you all that I can on it.
You have Party City on speed dial asking if they can put 4 peeps on hold for you.
I already emailed them. They've got them on hold. But there you go. That's Tabasco. That's for my dad, your dad, all the dads around the world that like a little spice in their life.
I love that. That's a sweet homage. If your dad liked Tabasco, or if you like Tabasco, let us know. We would love to hear from you if you have any thoughts about Tabasco. Before we go, there's a few brandies or brand freaks we want to give a little shout out to. Watsessing Illustration wrote to us, and I think this is a fun idea for us. Like if somebody has an idea for a product, because we are brand experts, we are marketing experts. If anybody has an idea for anything, you can pitch it to us and we will put it through the on-brand machine to make it a package that is $1 million idea. And you can take it for free. We are too busy. We're too tired to like start a company. But if you have an idea, come to us and we'll do the marketing for it.
Maybe we take like 10%.
We'll take 10%. So
each. And out, so 30%.
So what Sussing Illustration said, guys, I think dog food should be disrupted because we mentioned in our Liquid Death, what's a good sector of the market that could use some disruption? Dog food is either generic looking or high-end people who hike with those stupid flimsy baseball caps. It just feels oddly specific. What about all the hardcore kids, hip-hop heads, skater surfers, etc.? I'll get started on the designs. And then light bulb emojis, dog food, DAWG. Food. I think that is brilliant. I pitched a slogan for dogs so bad, even the pound won't take them. So this is a free idea. If anybody wants to run with this business idea, 10% is our
10%
finder's fee.
Each plus out, 30%.
It's growing. We want to give a shout out to 3 fans, 3 Brandy's freaks who wrote some lovely Apple podcast reviews for us. We have Ryan Nicole T., Lauren Elizabeth 56, and Jackaroni and Cheese, a special I love you from Jon and myself.
Oh, and listen, just because you wrote us a review and we say your name on the show doesn't mean we like you more than any of the other freaks. But we do, and we appreciate it. So if you want us to say your name, just write us a little review.
Yeah, it costs nothing.
It costs nothing.
It costs nothing.
So easy.
And as we always say, you can check us out on Instagram at OnBrandThePod, on TikTok at OnBrandThePodcast. Write to us, send us a message. We love to hear from you guys. And we will be back next week with an all-new episode.
And as you know, and as we proved today over and over again, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.